Relatively Paranormal. We just arrived at our next location, an older building in the historic north end of New Bedford, Massachusetts. As you can see in the background, there's already a telltale sign that this should be a good night. We got a creepy flickering light in the background. The static detector's going wild. That doesn't even detect energy. And look, and now it's at 0, it's just beeping. Oh, it's ice cold right here.
Yeah, but now down, stop right there. It's like your arms right on top of their head.
It's ice cold right here.
Then I see the person.
Yeah, feel this.
Did you see that? X?
Holy who's coming out of the box?
Lizzie did!
It says you have, like we already have.
Oh my god, Marissa. Oh my god.
What?
Something's like changing if I have a pulse. I swear to God, something's like changing if I have a pulse.
Jack, watch out, he's back right there. He's right, look at him. Look at him. Whoa, buddy. What are you doing?
That thing is going, I've never seen that. That thing is going nuts. That means somebody is holding on to that antenna for dear life.
That? Somebody just threw something at me.
What are you saying? Hello, my river, hello, my daughter, hello, my river. Hey, want to do this now over here? This one over here, hanging to the floor? What's that say? Torture! It says torture!
Woo! Welcome to Relatively Paranormal. My name is Todd. My lovely wife Marissa will be joining me in just a second. If you haven't watched the show before, we show a lot of video evidence and we pick a particular investigation to show each time we come on. And tonight we have a doozy for you. This is one of those times when you can't judge a paranormal location before you go to it. They're kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You could go to the creepiest place and not get a lot of activity, or go to the most unassuming location and have an explosion of paranormal activity. Well, this is the latter. We were called in to this old factory building that is now being used as a shipping center. We have to keep the location anonymous per request of the owner, even though this investigation was a little while ago. But they had been experiencing paranormal activity on a rather large scale for quite some time, and they wanted us to come in and validate what was going on, not so much remove it, but they all thought they were kind of going crazy. And since I live in a haunted home where I'm streaming from right now, I can understand that, because sometimes we see and experience things and we don't know if we are really experiencing. Did I really see that? The paranormal happens so fast, so quick, on a dime, that is the way it seems sometimes. That's the way it actually started for us. But tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Bryan Laverty from the Parapost Network. He's actually the founder. I'm going to bring him on right now. Hey, Bryan, how are you?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
I am fantastic. I had a wonderful holiday season. How was yours?
Oh, quiet.
Christmas
Christmas
Day
Day was quiet. But then the Monday on Boxing Day, I went to my sister's for Christmas, and that was a lot of fun. So I went with my son, and we had a lot of fun. But other than that, it was kind of quiet. So
now you live up in Canada. What did you just call it?
What? Boxing Day.
Boxing Day?
Yes.
Now, so is it based upon Christmas, or is it like
it's usually we call it Boxing Day because that's when you can go out and it's like your Black Friday.
Okay.
Boxing Day is like your Black Friday, so everybody goes out and goes shopping for the big sales. So they call it Boxing Day here. So
you don't beat up Santa or anything.
You know what? I don't question. I just follow.
So I know this is your first time on the show, so I have a metric ton of video evidence to show.
Yeah.
So we're going to show some clips, and when we come back, just give us your opinion of what you're seeing. And I'd like to get into a couple of topics tonight,
Okay.
and see what you think about them. Things that I didn't know existed, that I kind of think do now. But some of that comes out in this episode. So what I'm going to do real quick while we wait for Marissa is I'm going to run a quick clip of the tour that the employee who called us in gave us. But some paranormal activity does happen on the tour.
Oh, cool.
So it's not a boring tour. Some weird things happen during the tour. So I'm going to run that. And when we come back, I'll see you in a minute. We'll chat for a minute, and then we will get into the real stuff, the real good, bizarre activity. Let me tell you, folks, we got some bizarre stuff to show you tonight. And of course, the show is sponsored by mine and Marissa's company, Relatively Paranormal Equipment. We do sell ghost hunting equipment, including an SLS camera that is fully complete for $295, and an all new XLS, which is the SLS V2 camera. I believe we are one of the only people on the planet right now selling it. I haven't seen anyone else selling it. So good stuff. So let's run this clip, and I will see you in a second, sir. Well, and if anybody is out there, please get involved by questions and comments. We love it when the audience gets involved. It makes things just a lot more fun. So let's roll it.
And I heard coming up on me footsteps, like it was somebody gonna come up and say, hey.
Yeah.
It came up quick. You hear the sound of it? But it was a sound that's a little bit more deeper than actual my feet is going. And right as I thought somebody was gonna touch me, I turned and nobody was there. I got chills.
The footsteps stopped too?
The footsteps stopped, nobody was there, and it was literally like somebody ran up to me to go do something. So a guy went up, and I guess he heard footsteps too. He said he was so scared that instead of coming back down the elevator or the steps, he shot through that.
His fastest way down.
The ladder right here? Oh my
The
God.
ladder was
Pulled up the hatch and went down there.
There's a bunch of cameras around the factory. If you move in that infrared, the cameras come on.
Yeah.
Well, like 3 cameras in a row came on one at a time, and nobody was here.
In like consecutive order?
In consecutive order. And then he came out to check because he's like, hey, that's like somebody's walking through because they're going, and nobody was in here.
So that's 3 separate solo incidences, though. Like,
and that's just the ones who was around when I had mentioned.
Who knows what anybody else has got? How many guys here at night?
This is like, this is going to like a 0.5, 0.6.
That's a lot of people.
0.7. Look, the static detector's going off too. That doesn't even do energy.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that.
Vibration?
Look, it's at 0 now. It's at 0 now. If that was you, can you make this go off again? Make it beep? Make it turn red?
Would you hear noise right there?
Go ahead. Oh, you gotta just touch it where these arrows are right here where my fingertips are. Go ahead, I'll hold it away from myself. I won't hurt you, and neither will that. The static detector's going wild. That doesn't even detect energy. And look, and now it's at 0, it's just beeping. Are you touching this black box right here? Can you back away from it for a second? Look, and it's going to 0, 0. All right, can you touch this blue box again and make that beep? That's crazy. Look, it's touching it. See this one here? This is only static energy. You have to touch it on the end over there. Like I'd have to drag my feet on the carpet and then touch it, and it would shut off once I moved my hand. It's blinking, so that means that
we'll have it.
if it's blinking, that means you're like keeping your hand there, like, and it's like, it means it's like a high amount of static electricity. And I'm trying to reset it. Watch, you press the button to reset it.
You can say your house
and
was
it's going
on.
back on.
You had it on, but it wasn't going.
What the hell? All right, thank you. Thank you.
What'd you hear?
We've come here to talk to you tonight, so we're going to talk to you. I had a feeling to grab this. I don't know why. And now it's at 0. Look at that. It's going to be
Especially like when we get quiet, it gets creepy. I can picture you here by yourself.
Oh, look, it went up to like 0.8.
Watch. Try to just listen.
Okay, now it says 00. Thank you. Can you do that again? Make it beep again.
Oh,
Like, look at it, 0.9.
I see. I got it. Go.
Almost did it. You got to make it go up a little bit higher. There it is. Keep going. A little bit higher. Just grab them at the top of the box. Grab up top here with your hand. Grab it. Crazy. Look at that. All right, you can come with us. Go ahead. Come on. Keep on. Keep it on. That is crazy. That's awesome. And look, I can't reset this thing. It won't reset.
Something's
It
a
will
little
not
bit.
receive. Oh, you know what it is? Because whatever it is hanging out in front of me. And it's setting it off. That's what it is.
Looks good in this light.
All right, keep going. Hey, go ahead. You can stay with me. Whatever this is has a lot of static energy. And this thing with me because that 0.3, 0.2, 0.3.
Be careful. Did you hear that? Yeah, you didn't hear that person behind it?
I don't understand why this won't reset.
Go ahead,
Now
Todd.
it reset. Look. Now that we went up the staircase, it reset.
See it, because
that.
that thing.
I bet you it's relegated to that area down the first floor. We come back down and it'll activate. You watch. Look, and now it's at 00. So look, static meters reset, and it's at 00.
that room that we was in, just now underneath it, one day we're all down there picking. And at the time, there's probably only 5 of us in the building.
Yeah.
And we're all downstairs. And we're picking, and right above me, boom, sound like not a foot, sound like boof, like a loud bang. And I looked up and I looked at everybody. I was like, nobody went upstairs for no boxes, right? And we were like, no.
Come up here and look at what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is those machines?
Be careful, Marissa, walking in here. Oh.
Oh, look at that. 2.3. That's weird to shoot a 2.7 out of nowhere.
For no reason.
There's nothing
No.
here. Nothing.
You're not around nothing. You're around pipes.
It's
Look at this.
00. Oh, there it goes. There you go. Go ahead. Do it again. Let us know you're here. Can you make it beep again? That's all right. I know you're out of energy. I brought energy for you. Oh, there it goes. Look. There you go. Good job.
I like the
Thank you.
randomness of it, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
Out of nowhere.
That's crazy because
There we go. Thank you. Hey, and that way because we came here to talk to you. Yep. See? Thank you. Look at that. Great. Yeah, one more time, real quick. Do you stay up here on this floor? Make it beep if you stay up here. Do you stay on this floor?
Do you see
0.3. There you go.
see a picture of
Oh, there you go. Thank you. All right.
wow.
All right. So Marissa's here. She
Hi.
is back.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? How was your well, I know your Christmas was great because Todd told me it was great. Now I want
Yeah.
your perspective. Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Julia
that's
had
great.
a wonderful Christmas, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So
It's nice seeing you. It's nice. It's great seeing you both, actually.
nice seeing
so,
you. Thank
I
you.
know. It's
Yeah.
been a little bit.
You know, I will say, the EVP you captured where the other guys heard it
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Which one?
Because that only validates what the EVP you captured, because somebody heard a voice and it said "help me," I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going towards the staircase.
That was pretty cool. And the other EVPs you captured were cool too, clear as day. Clear as day. Those were great. And there's nothing better when you're capturing stuff on a tour of the place because you know you're going to have a good night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The place was massive too. It was really a big location. Upstairs was just absolutely huge. There was this old machinery everywhere. They do like they deliver a certain product now. I'll keep the guy's anonymity to this day, but there's a lot of old equipment that had to do with its previous life. And in New Bedford, we were a huge textile city. And back then, you know, Industrial Revolution, they would use little kids to crawl in the machines to fix them. A lot of bad things happen in these factories. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that we heard a little kid's voice. And you'll see later that a child actually makes contact, which you would think weird to be in that type of building. But when you think of its previous life, not so much.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, are you the type of people that like to know the history before you go in, or you want to find out after you've been? And
We
after you've
changed our
gone through
mind
your
on it.
Yeah,
We
okay.
used to want to know before, and
Yeah.
we would call out names, and then we realized that, oh my God, we're in like an asylum where 2,000 people died, and we're calling out the same 5 names that everybody calls out every night. What about the other 1,950 people that could possibly be here?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
now we like to go in like a medium cold, and then take whatever evidence we capture and match it up to the history after, where
Yeah.
hopefully it makes
Well,
more
because I'm kind of curious, because if there's a child running through there, I kind of wonder what was there, what was it before what it is now.
It
And
was
that's what I'm
a
curious about.
textile mill of some sort. I don't know exactly
So why
what,
would a
but it was,
child be there?
well, they used child labor back at the Industrial Revolution. Bedford was
Oh,
huge. We have these
yeah,
old, like they've tore down a lot of them, but there's still a lot of old textile buildings all over the city that are now like storage units or other weird things. Apartment buildings, even. Julia, can you please go grab that, honey? Julia,
yeah, something's going off there.
my
Is
blood
it
sugar
urea?
meter, unfortunately, I'm
Okay.
diabetic.
Yeah, because I'm kind of curious why it said help me. Now I'm kind
Yeah.
of understanding why it's saying help me, because it
Yeah,
needs help.
so just hit the button, sweetheart. Just hit the button. Let me see. I'm sorry. I should have grabbed this thing. But they would use children to crawl into the machinery where the adults couldn't fit if something got jammed in there.
Oh, wow.
And oftentimes when they would pull something out or whatever, the machine would stop back up. Like they wouldn't bother to go kill the fuse or shut the machine off. People would get limbs ripped off. People would
Wow.
get killed in these places. They would work people half to death back then.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was. Not that much is now, except for we have some safety laws involved, but
Yeah, that's for sure.
but that's what it was before, and you can see it all. You can feel it in there. It doesn't feel like a delivery, like a shipping warehouse. It feels like what
Yeah.
it was before. It had a weird energy to it for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind
And
of the same. I'm kind of the same as you guys, and same with Rick, who's in the room, who said he likes to know, he likes to figure out, he likes to find out the history after you've done the investigation already. I'm kind of the same. So I like
Yeah.
to go in there not knowing much, because, like you said, you can go into a place where there's 2,000 people have died and everybody's saying the same names.
correct.
And I can walk into a place not knowing anything about the history. And if I capture a name through the audio or something like that, because usually when I do an audio or a voice recorder, I'll listen back during the investigation to see if I caught anything, whether it's whatever it's being said. And if I capture a name, I'll go with that name. So, and maybe use it a couple of more times during the investigation.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting that you captured 4 EVPs during that walkthrough.
Yeah, back then we used to. This was almost 2 years ago. This investigation, but we like going back to look at things a second time because our opinions on certain things have changed so much. And back then we used to rely on the spirit box, which you're going to hear a ton of tonight. It was probably the clearest we've ever heard it there. But now I like EVPs as well. I like to do what you do and listen back during the investigation.
Yeah.
And we've upgraded our equipment so much since then, microphones, that we capture so much more now. It's almost obscene.
Yeah, well, you have the luxury because you guys make stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't have that luxury, and they
people need to understand too, as you're watching this, you're going to see a lot of activity. Believe me, Marissa and I lived in 2 haunted homes. We got into this because of the hell we lived in the first place. We help a lot of families out, and we're trying to get rid of the stigma associated with the subject by presenting our evidence. And when I see things like paranormal caught on camera with all the obviously fake and hoaxed evidence, it makes me want to vomit. That's not what we're about. But we do use this a lot, which is a spirit energy device that we invented together. And I wouldn't even call it an EM pump. It uses 2 energy pumps and quartz and amethyst crystals. But we'll put like 2 or 3 of these around, and they absolutely work. The thing is, in this investigation, we tried a weird experiment where we took our spirit box here that I was showing Brian a few minutes ago that we invented. That's pretty huge. It's called the Vortex. It's kind of based on a portal type idea, but I just took it a few steps further. and we put this on like a TV tray. We had a power plant below it and a power plant behind it. And what you're about to see is going to blow your mind because it's one of the weirdest things that we have ever encountered, and we've never encountered since. Now, the XLS camera that you're going to see in a minute, hold on, right here. This maps in 3D by using like a time of flight sonar type technology. It's impervious to false positives. We used it in the night vision mode because it was this investigation is the very first time we used it. So I didn't even know there was a 3D mode. I hadn't even played with it. I just got it like the day before, hooked it up. I saw the night vision mode. I said, oh, this is cool. And it actually picked up a figure in our home. We're in a haunted home. It picked up a figure here right away, but it also captured weird orbs and mists. This goes so far beyond the regular SLS. It's ridiculous. And
interesting.
The
now,
evidence
is that
you're
something?
about to see, I'm so curious.
That's something it has to be stationary.
What?
Does
Hold
it
on.
have to be stationary?
Well, because of the good grief, because of the technology with it casting out infrared beams, the stiller you can keep it, the better. The better it works. Oh my God! Hold on one second.
I think that's what
here. Hold
I think
on.
that's what the biggest problem with a lot of people using the SLS, right? There's a lot of people that using there's a lot of people out there that are using the SLS incorrectly.
I'm gonna put on a video real quick and we'll talk in a second. Let me get the screen fixed here.
Oh, okay.
I can get this out of the way. All right. What the hell is going on here? I'm gonna put on the next video. We'll see you in a second. Let me get the screen fixed.
Dave? All right, Dave. I'm gonna put this down for a second so I can show you what to do. Down over there. David! It said David and it said David. All right, David. Oh, here's the dealio. What's this? All right, I'm going to give you some ways to communicate with us. Okay. In my hand is a blue stick. First of all, any spirits, dead people, entities, demons, whatever's on this property. My name's Todd, that's Brandon, that's Marissa over there. We've come here to speak to you tonight. And I brought some ways for you to communicate. The first way is this blue stick in my hand. You twist the end to turn the light on and off. It will give us a sign of your presence. And we can ask you yes and no questions through it. So if you can turn that light on right here. This thing's already got a dead battery. Start with this one. Go.
Our SLS V2 camera, otherwise known as the XLS, a mere 3 minutes after turning it on, picks up a strange manifestation seeming to either be crawling in or out of our spirit box. You can see one of our power plant energy devices below the spirit box, and we had another power plant behind it. We can only think that this had something to do with those two energy pumps running at the same time, as our spirit box wasn't even on, so none of us could figure out why this entity would be trying to crawl in and out of the spirit box when the device was off.
It's good to see this week. It's got his hand down. Come in, look at it. Oh,
Hey, to see you. Oh, look, turn the light on.
Good
Turn the light on, thank you. Wow.
it's a weird shape. It came out full human. See it?
It's in, like, half its head in the box.
It's trying to come out.
Oh my God, it is coming out of the box.
See his hands?
Whoa.
We'll
Hi.
talk to
If your name's
Hi, sir, I see you coming out of the box.
it.
Can you, come out and shake my hand? You just turn on that light. Can you turn that back off so I can ask you a yes or no question?
It came out before.
Can you turn the light back off?
His head's in the box. So those circles are his hands. And you'll see it.
That's Chloe, is that David? Can you,
It's kind of like,
can you, turn that light back off?
see how it backs up? See how we can see the
teenager, could you please turn the light on?
Check this out.
Could you please turn one of those flashlights on if you already...
Oh, he shut it off?
It's gone.
They shut it off? There we go. There's another one.
Gone.
Gone?
Yep.
That was weird.
Like it went in the box, Todd.
Went back in it? I hope that's not what I think it is. Oh, God. Well, let's assume it's not.
See that?
Let me turn that up. Oh, it turned it off. What was it? Turn it on my hand. Okay, if you're a male, a boy, a man, can you please turn that light off? Oh, there we go. And it turned one on. Wow, thank you. So you're a man? Okay, if your name's David, turn one of the lights on. If you were a teenager, turn one of the lights on. God, you were a teenager. Oh, whoa, gee, both lights. Wow, so that's the thing. Yes. Okay, go ahead. School. School. Oh, wow. Shut that up. So are you saying this land, there was a school here before? There was a school here before? Well, this building was a school.
Yo, his camera broke on his phone.
Oh, wait.
Oh, the light went on. Okay. Did you die here when this was a school? Did you pass away here in the school? Oh, here we go. Crazy. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. That's sad. That's sad. If you were a teenager, were you? Yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to find out your age. Okay. In the evening. What happened in the evening? The parallel says evening now. I don't know why there's no sound on it. Okay. If you were 13 when this happened, turn on the light. Okay. If you were 14. At 14? Turn off that light if it was 14 when you passed away. 14. I am so very sorry to hear that. I have children. All of us do here.
So he's a 14-year-old right now? Still.
So you were 14? Just to be sure, shut off that light if you were 14. You can see me now, right? You were 14, okay. And you're a boy. Okay. All right. And inner, okay. Inner. Can you use that box to tell us what year you passed away in? You know what year it was when you died? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you die sometime between the year 1900 and the year 2000? Did you die sometime between the year 1800 and the year 1900? Look at that. Boom. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to try to guess the decade. Did you die between 1800 and 1810?
Yeah.
You did. Okay. Boom, both lights. Okay. So somewhere between 1800 and 1810? All right. Did you die in 1801? 1802? 1802, turn on the other light if that 1802 was the last year, the year you passed away in. 1802? Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so you passed away in 1802.
And why are you still here?
Is your name Madison? It said Madison. Sammy? All right, turn up both lights. Is your name Sammy? Is your name Madison? No. Yes? So you want us to call you Madison? Is that correct? Stop so I can ask you a question, okay? Please? You're doing great. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Are you the only spirit in this building? Yes? Yes? Are there any other entities in the building? Right now. Are there any other entities in the building? Turn on a light if there are any other entities or spirits or anyone else in the building besides live people. Yeah, the only... Well, there are. Okay. Okay. Whoa, jeez. Okay. And is it another human spirit here with you? Turn on the light if there's other human spirits here. There is. Oh, boom. You need. Okay. Okay. And are there one other spirit here with you? Two other spirits here with you.
All right. I actually think there was a lot more spirits there. That's why so many names were popping
Yeah.
out of that device.
And I
You know-
actually, while I was listening, I actually heard. I don't know if it was on the device you had, but I actually heard "Get Out."
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
probably some EVPs in there because back then I wasn't as adept as picking them out.
Yeah, it was a child's voice that said "Get Out."
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
These headphones can hear flea fart from 5 miles away.
Let's
And
I saw there was,
I heard it was right in the middle. I heard "Get Out."
there
which
was
is
there's
typical.
quite a few comments. I just wanted to just
Yeah. And Victor's
say
in
hi
the
to
room,
people.
and Victor's in the room. Victor Santiago's in the room, and we've been trying to convince this guy to go on a paranormal investigation, and he won't do it.
Yeah.
And now that he's watching this video and see what's going on, it's probably even going to scare the shit out of him more.
Listen, this part was nothing. It starts ramping up from here. It's like a crescendo. The farther it goes on, the crazier it gets. But I wanted to get your opinion on real quick on this. But let me just say hi. Oh, look, this is a fraternity brother of mine from way back in college. I graduated college in '98. That's my pledge name right there, Porter.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what I was known as for, I don't know, 4.5 years, however long it took me to graduate. I want to say 4, but I think it was 4.5. All right. I see Ray's on there a few times. Let's see.
Nando was there. Victor.
Read my read because I'm blind as a bat.
Okay, yeah. So Rick says, I agree, Todd. I'd rather find the evidence. The idea. Oh, I'm sorry. The less I know prior to the investigation, the better.
Yeah. Anytime I know before, I catch myself doing it. I'll call out that name repeatedly, even though I know not to. I'll still do it.
Yeah.
I'll still do it. It's like it's a psychological thing.
So yeah. So Victor says, "Hi guys, hi Victor."
Hey Victor, thanks for watching.
And Nando
That's the Victor
says,
I was talking about going on investigation.
My cousin Russell actually does a lot of our research for us and finds us locations for the show all the time.
Okay.
And we cannot convince him to come on investigation. I mean, couldn't even convince him when we used to investigate here at the house. We couldn't convince him to come here. We stopped doing that though. Like bad things started happening because at the time we thought it was cool when we first moved in. It's not so cool.
Yeah, you know what? I have a video on Paraflix, and it's from some friends of mine. His name is Hef and Mo, and I did an investigation at their home.
Yeah,
and it's on Paraflix actually, and they don't want to do their own investigation in their home. They just don't want to do it. But they always hear stuff. And they know something's going on. There was one time where they had all their equipment inside their drawer, like their EMFs and some other things. And all of a sudden one night they were watching a movie and all of a sudden everything went off at the same time in the drawer.
I haven't had everything go off, but we've had equipment go off, or I'll open up a bag and the EMF detector, something weird will be on that. You know, if it had been on the whole time, it would have been dead, but it's almost like something new. I was going to go over there and decided to mess with me.
Yeah.
Whatever here thinks it's, I don't know if a comedian is the word, but like my diabetic meter that you heard go off, like anytime, like if I go in the bathroom, the second I go in the bathroom, you know, whatever, it'll start going off. And then I come back and it's not even high or low. Like whatever it is messes with me to the point where like it waits for me to go do something else in the house and I'll start doing it, and it'll set something off. One of the devices in here. It's a trickster for sure.
Now with the XLS that you had going on, it almost looked like, to me, it almost looked like it was trying to play with that box.
It was absolutely interacting with it. Yeah. I don't know if it was trying to get in or out, but at some points you can see its hands like up on the box, and it's like legs, its knees trying to
get like leverage to. I feel like it was trying to climb out of it.
It almost looked like it was trying to figure out what the box was, and he was trying to play with it. He or she or whoever it was. What's that?
Yeah, I said it wasn't on yet. It hadn't, like the audio part of it wasn't on, so
yeah,
it was really bizarre.
Yeah, that was interesting, and obviously the flashlight's going off and on. That was cool. I've tried that experiment multiple times, and the only time I was at a place called Ghost Road, which is about an hour and a half from me. My buddy actually had a flashlight with him, and he decided he was going to put it on the ground. He put it on the ground, and it turned on. And then I asked, "Did you turn on the flash?" I asked, "Did you?" And we had the SB7 going on. I asked did you turn on the flashlight? And we got a response back saying, "Sure did."
That's awesome.
I mean, I'll tell you what, to this day, it's still one of the most impressive things, and it's one of the cheapest pieces of equipment you can buy, a mini mag light for $15. But because of the fact that it's a twist and you can see it slowly turn on and off, it's still like outstanding to this day. And I know some people have an issue. They say, oh, it's because the circuits aren't right or blah, 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 blah. Some guy tried to send me something. But if you go to our YouTube channel, the Relatively YouTube channel, we had an investigation we did in a haunted hotel room, and an SLS figure appears and for 20 minutes on command turns the flashlights on in stick figure form. It's right in front of me. I could feel the static electricity. I could feel the ice coldness of it. It's right in between the two beds, and on command, I would be like, turn on the right one, and its hand would reach out and turn it on. And you can watch this happen, and it goes on for 20 minutes, Brian. So anytime somebody says it to me, I'm like, well, okay, but what about this? You know, like I don't listen. If that was the case, I wouldn't want to do it. But the fact that it's on command, and then at some points, we'll turn on a different piece of equipment that they can talk through. They lose interest in the flashlight, and it stops. It won't do anything for 2 hours after that point.
You know, and I know a lot of people out there question as well, because the turn ones, if you turn it to a certain degree or certain point, it will automatically turn the light on and off all the time. And I know a couple of guys that are well-known fakers on YouTube. They were at a location that I did, and the general manager of that location told me that's what they did to make the flashlight go off and on.
What were they doing? They did what?
You twist it a certain amount, and it will actually bring the flashlight. It will actually turn on the flashlight, and it will turn it on.
How could they get it to go on and off based on their questions? You know, like if
this is it. This is it. They weren't really asking any questions. It was just coming off and on.
Oh, okay.
You see how I get it to like turn off and on, like turn it off if that's correct.
Yeah. Well, you were asking on command, it was coming on.
Yeah,
you know, it was coming on when. Yeah, that was great. That was really, really cool.
We're real big on corroborating evidence. Like we have way more equipment now, but like if it was just the EMF detector on the tour going off, that wouldn't impress me. But the fact that the static detector was going off even more than that. That's a medical grade static detector. It has nothing to do with ghost hunting. I just adapted it for that. Or it's made for like computer techs. Like you got to check for static before you touch a motherboard or you'll fry it type of thing. And it's only on the very tip, and it rarely goes off. And if I put my hand there with static and then removed it, it would shut right off. The fact that it stayed on and then was flashing, which means like high static electricity, and then it started beeping, that makes me feel that's more compelling to me because it's
Yeah.
corroborating each other.
Yeah, I
We've
agree.
had
I
4 or 5
agree.
devices go off before, and to
You know,
me
it's the
that
exact same thing with the cat balls, or people are calling them spirit balls, but they're really cat balls.
yeah, no, yeah, the cat ball. Yeah.
So when I was in the UK with Lex, we were at a mausoleum, and we actually put a cat ball on the steps of the mausoleum, and we were actually asking questions, and the light was coming on with the spirit ball, and it was incredible.
It's
and
awesome. I love corroboration.
we actually asked a question that a lot of people have asked, a lot of paranormal investigators have asked, and have always wondered that, we always wonder as paranormal investigators, when somebody dies, when your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend dies, and then you die, like that person dies like 10, 15 years later, do they reconnect? Do they reconnect in the past life? Or in the afterlife? Sorry, not the past life, the afterlife. So I asked that question, are you two together? And the cat ball went off.
That's
It
awesome.
lit
I've
up.
gotten that answer too. That
Yeah.
yes, they've gotten
So,
together. Yeah.
and I know a lot of people have wondered, do they reconnect after they die? And there was a separation of 30 years.
That's crazy.
So
That's
her husband died, and she died 30 years later. And
That's
they
crazy.
were eventually buried together. And now they are together in the afterlife.
That's incredible.
So,
That is
yeah,
incredible.
it was
Now,
really,
before
really
we get to the
cool.
next video, I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
Do you have a staple of like a set of questions that you will ask everywhere? Like we have this staple of like 10 questions we will ask everywhere. Like, did you see your body when you died? Did you see the light? And we're trying to get like a consensus from the spirits because we believe that a lot of them will lie to us. A lot of them are forced to lie to us by a bully or demonic type spirit that appear at a lot of locations that for some reason they force other spirits to say or do things. But we have this feeling like if we get a consensus over maybe 10 years, that we could, if 90% of them said the same thing, that would be the answer.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of questions like that?
I do have certain questions I do ask, but one thing I always do, even before I ask any questions, especially with the SB7, I always introduce myself. I always introduce everybody that's around. I think it's a sign of respect. And I think
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I think the more respect that you give the spirits, because let's be honest, we're invading their place.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So the more
Absolutely.
respectful you are, I think the better chances of you getting responses back. And
Especially at the famous places where every night people are coming in.
Yeah.
Lizzie Borden's, those poor people for like 30 years, every night of the week have people coming in going, did Lizzie whack your head off? Did she smash your face in? And they have like reproductions of the skulls in the dining room. They have autopsy pictures all over the walls. There's pictures of axe. There's things that says, if you have a question, don't hesitate to axe the staff. Can you imagine being a spirit and you died that horrific a death? And this is what you see, witness, and experience every day. And then 13 sets of people come in and will ask those questions every night for like 30 years. They've been doing it.
Well, it's funny because Lex puts it in a perspective that I think makes sense. Would you walk into somebody's home that go in there and start yelling out stuff?
No, yeah, we feel the same way. Yeah.
Like really, like honestly, like you're invading their space. You're hoping that they're going to communicate with you. I think the more respectful you are, the better chances of getting responses. I think I've seen a ton of videos where people walk into a location and are trying to provoke. And I am not a fan of provoking.
No.
Now, there's only been 1 or 2 times where I provoked. The one time I provoked because whatever was there hurt a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, me and Lex were doing this investigation in the UK, and we were actually angry with this spirit because this spirit actually choked a friend of ours.
Ooh, yeah.
And so we were trying to get it. And now the weird thing after that, while doing that, provoking, Nando DeSerio from Portal to the Paranormal, he got scratched.
Yeah.
He got scratched while we were doing that. And so I rarely provoke. It's just something that myself, and I know you guys are the exact same way, that if you go in with respect, you're going to get that respect back.
The only time I'll provoke is if they say something about her. I've had a spirit at Burlington County Prison during an SD session say it was going to rape her, and I threw the headphones off and went berserk in the middle of the prison and like basically called it on. It was like, I can't see you, you coward. Like, I heard it clear as day too. And she had no idea what I was flipping out for because I was 2 cells over with headphones on. And, you know, I was in the death row cell and I heard it clear as day and I flipped. You know, if sometimes we can hear the spirits and they'll say there's a certain thing there, either calling itself a demon, whatever, bullying them, you know, and then I'll try to stick up for the other human spirits and say things like that. But I've learned over time, like, not a good idea really to challenge certain things in your own name. Can be a bad thing. I think I caused actually an attachment because we did a family case that we were called into, and it said it was going to kill the kids and eat them or something. And I out and said, like, listen, you're not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get you out of here. But I didn't say in the name of Christ or in the name of anything. I said in my name. And after that, negative things started happening to us and everything stopped at that house.
Yeah. My very first investigation, it was a residential, and this family they were having a lot of crap happen. And the biggest thing that the group was affected in a way that they wanted to do this investigation. The kids were getting scratched.
Yeah, I don't like things attaching.
So anything that messes with kids, that is a problem with me, and I think it is with most investigators. So
it is.
Yeah, but other than that, dude, like that whole segment there, that was great.
So
I'm gonna run another quick.
So I was just thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So when Bryan said that, when he mentioned that, you know, how people act if, you know, someone came into your house screaming and yelling, right? So, you know what I was just thinking about? Like, what's like the very first response that we almost always get is get out, right? So what's the first thing that you would say if somebody came into your house screaming and yelling? You'd be like, get out.
Yeah,
get out,
like
right?
the guy from Ghost Lab that goes in there and flips out, the big dude there, I forget his name, but
oh my God,
he comes in screaming at it every place they go. Like, I wouldn't talk to you either. I wouldn't talk to them, you know, and they have such a finite amount of energy. And if you're not giving it to them, do you think they're going to waste it on somebody who's being rude? Absolutely not. And the other thing I have pause with is like people who will hear a story from the residents about things that are going on. Yeah. And the first thing they try to do is debunk everything without realizing that if that ghost used its energy to actually throw that book or make that noise and it's standing right next to you and you're debunking it, is it going to want to talk to you after? No, do your debunking after, like if that's what you think it is and you want to do the experiment. But I just think that if it was me personally and I was a spirit with a finite amount of energy and I did all this stuff and wasted all this energy trying to get help from the residents, like let's say you're a regular human, and then they called in these people and the first thing they did was debunk all the stuff that I actually did as a ghost and wasted my energy to do. Would I waste any more energy trying to talk to you when you wanted to finally talk to me? No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
And what you said about your introduction, I actually do have the whole spiel too. Like I'll always introduce Marissa and I, and when Brandon, who you see in this video, used to go with us, I always do my little spiel. My introduction?
Yeah, you do the same thing every time. Yeah,
pretty much every time. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I think it's good to do. I
point out all the equipment too, how to use it. It's not going to hurt you, that sort of thing. If you don't explain like something like this right here to somebody who lived in the 1800s, would scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, and I do the same thing when I'm using the EMF or something like that. I will say, come and touch this. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt you. You're safe, whatever. And it's usually touched.
She gets called a witch.
That blue, the EMF that you have, I have one of those too. And those are great tools.
They are fantastic. If used properly, now what I do actually is use it like a REM pod, is I zero the area and then I put it down on that little tripod with the static thing. And if something goes to it, like I already know the area is zero EMF, Then I use it like a REM pod, where if they set it off, I'll use it to communicate back and forth. Carrying it around, you can kind of pick up transient stuff. Which you see me in the video, I'm like trying to see if there's anything there. There really wasn't a lot of electrical stuff. It was more pallets. But let me run another video because I'm really curious to see what you think as this gets a little weirder. And like I talked to you in that text message, like I really I want to know your opinion on that. So I believe it's this one, right? I'm on the right one, right?
Yep.
4?
All right. Does that look like a person?
I don't know. They have
No. Standing behind the box?
Are you standing behind the box?
That doesn't look like a shorter person, right? They're moving. It looks like they're moving back and forth, right?
Well, Peter said, I don't know. I can just say, where's the guy? Tell me when I get close to him.
Okay. No, you're not. Getting closer. No. Yep, right there. Stop.
Are you right here? Oh, it's ice cold right here.
Yeah. So now down. Stop right there. Like your arms right on top of their head.
It's ice cold right here.
Then I see the person.
Feel this.
Did you see that? It was all dark. Yeah.
Ice cold. Who's standing right here?
They're coming back though.
Who is standing here? Me. Do you hear that? Me? Wow, my hand.
Yeah.
My hand was like ice cold.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a person. Oh, it still is. They're coming back.
Yeah. What?
Hey, something's coming out. Something's coming out the box again.
Coming out of the box?
Nobody's there. Look at. You see it?
Oh, yeah.
Is this our sign?
You
see it?
Holy Who's coming out of the box? Girl? Who's at the box?
You see it developing?
Crazy.
Could you come out completely?
Go ahead, manifest.
Could you stand up?
At the box, I'll tell you that.
Where is the box?
You can see it.
No, that's not it.
Yes, it is. That's the speaker right there, dude. Yeah.
Could you stand up so we can see your head?
Yeah. What up? Help?
Burnt.
So are you scared?
You got burned?
Smell.
Burning? Is that what it's saying?
And then it's a smell.
Were you burnt?
They're trying to stick their leg out. Look at this. They got like their right leg or their left leg.
Why is it climbing up the box?
This is the second time.
Solid, huh?
Don't listen to who. They keep saying that.
Come out completely and stand
We got
up.
Dan.
It's a no.
Oh.
We're not scared. Show us who you are.
For the second time, we can see some sort of spirit entity or maybe a demon is trying to either get in or get out of the box. To me and everyone else, it looked like something was stuck in the box and was trying to escape. Many times we've heard that the box actually creates a portal. We actually believe we captured a picture of this portal in these back-to-back pictures. The first one shows a strange anomaly below the Vortex Spirit Box table, which looks like a portal. The next picture shows absolutely nothing in the same exact spot.
Mirror? Todd, is there a mirror in there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Show yourself.
How many spirits are here in front of us right now? His leg. How many spirits? Did I hear 8? Whoa.
Box?
X?
You can see it, yo, Todd, full body this time. Stretched out.
It's still there? Oh, whoa.
Nick, my name's Marissa. Can you?
Yeah. Still coming out?
Yeah, now it's out, and look at, you can see it, like, you can see its legs, Todd, and its arms.
What? Right here. It's like flash. I don't have something like that.
Looks like you're flipping us off. No?
Mm-hmm. Who's in front of the box? Yo, it's getting cold.
Oh, it is. I could feel getting cold.
Todd, yo, it's freezing. I'm getting goosebumps like crazy.
Oh my God, it dropped down to 53 near you. Holy
I'm
smoke.
freezing, Todd. My legs are
Oh, look. Todd's freezing? Okay.
Who's next to me? I can feel you.
55.
Yo, did you just see that? Todd.
Well,
Wave your hand. Trying to.
I
If
told
this
you,
is
it's
true, you're here
crazy, right?
on the camera. Can you just wave your hand for us, back and forth?
Somebody's asking for help. Some people's warning us. Somebody's threatening us.
Airway over. I got mad, like.
Todd, you got your light on me. You got your light at me.
Up, coming out the box, Todd.
Again?
Standing up. Just popped up.
Who's coming out of the box?
Waving his hand again.
Who's coming out of the box? Did you say the demon was? Yes, it is.
This time it's like spread out. That big one? God, huge orb, God. Hey, way bigger than fucking.
Did you say demon was out? Is the box opening up a portal? Is the box opening up a portal?
Yes.
Yes. How big?
Another orb. Right from over there. Lucy, you're standing still, right? No.
How
You're not,
big? Too big?
If I'm not bigger him, he's a coward, a bully. If I was afraid, I would have stopped doing this a long time ago, but I'm not. How many spirits have been hit? He's in here right now. Enough of that. Stop it. I'm not going anywhere. Make me. Do something to me. Scare me. Hit me. Push me.
something. You want me to leave? Make me.
Hey, Todd, this is something it came up.
All right. Now, with any spirit box, the longer you're around it, review it, listen to it, the better you can understand it. I could hear that pretty clear at that location. And I heard a lot of that garbage about demon this and help and this and that. And I knew something there was either perpetrating or there really was some sort of negative entity there. And I started to like actually get angry there. You can hear it towards the end because it was saying nasty things to me. It said it was is that where it says it was gonna eat my brain?
Yeah, it did.
Did you hear that at the end?
Yeah, I did. It also said, and you didn't put it down there, but it also said, "Don't touch it." To that, whatever that was near the box there. It said, "Don't
on
touch
the
it."
thermal?
Yeah. No, not
Yeah.
the thermal. The XLS. It said, or you had the necrophonic going. It was that whatever that was, you could hear on the necrophonic saying, "Don't touch it."
Yeah.
And then with the fleur that you had going, I was trying to decide with that when you were trying to get your hand to that point. I was actually trying to decide if it was the gap that was between the two bundles there. And it was hard to tell if it was the gap that was creating that dark shadow or something was actually there.
I was on the fence about that too. The reason why I showed is because at the end it dissolves and it turns all red. And I was thinking that if it was the gap, why would the cold disappear?
Yeah, well, I think that's the reason I think that might have happened is because Marissa moved.
Yeah, it might have been. It could have been. That was like one of the first times we had the flare too. So we were still trying to get used to that.
Yeah, the fleur is I'm telling you this much. I've seen people with the fleur, and when you catch something, you know right away that you've caught it. Because usually it's a full shaped figure, usually most of the time. I've even actually seen a video where you can actually see a head come around, like poke around and look, and then go back.
Did you watch the last episode we did on Rolling Hills with the nurse in the morgue or whatever that was?
No, I haven't seen that episode yet.
I heard footsteps right in front of me, and I was holding the flare, except we were just setting up, and I wasn't looking at the flare screen. I had a flare and a 4K side by side, so you had a parallel view, so you knew exactly what the flare was seeing. And I didn't notice it till review. I heard footsteps, and I'm looking around, and I heard them again, like hard sole shoes. So I knew it wasn't us.
Yeah.
And this cold figure pops up, and it's a woman with the flipped out bob hairdo. And I have the advantage of being able to look at it on the video software. When I went frame by frame, there was a point she got so close to me, I could see her teeth. Everything, every part of her face. She was screaming at one point, and all I could hear was her walking around me, and you can hear it in the video, like tap, tap, tap. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I realized that like something with the camera wasn't plugged in. I'm so pissed that I didn't see it live because I'm like moving the flare a little bit that I would have never done. And it's clear as it's freaky, man. It's one of the best flare captures we've ever got. And it was at Rolling Hills, and it was amazing.
My favorite part about this video is the Todd.
That's creepy.
That is creepy as hell. And I mean, how do you explain that?
Well, and also the temperature drop too that you mentioned during the video too. It was at 59 and went right down to 53. Like that's a huge drop. Like I can understand that if it drops maybe a couple, but if going from 59 to 53, that's a huge drop.
Yeah.
And then even at the
now,
end,
was there any kind of like question? If was there any kind of breeze coming through the building at all that would have made that temperature drop that much?
No, it was cold in there to begin with, but the temperature drop I don't have an explanation for. Like I'm the type of person, like if it's cold, you can hear me sniffling the whole time. My nose will start running. I don't know why. It was that temperature the whole time, but I noticed it was noticeable when I went over to that area. That's why I was like, oh my God, it's freezing. Like normally I don't even bother saying stuff like that. Like I'm not like a big, oh, there's static electricity here. Oh, it's that cold. Because there's so many explanations.
Yeah. And I also found during that segment as well that the flashlight was going berserk. Both flashlights were going off and on during the whole thing, especially with you having the necrophonic on. It was just going ballistic at times. Like it was going back and forth. And there was a lot going on in that segment. It was very, very overwhelming, to be honest. Because you had the necrophonic going, you had the FLIR going, you had the XLS camera going. There was a lot going on, and that could be overwhelming. And then on top of that, to hear your name about 50 times being mentioned,
it's creepy.
It's very, very overwhelming with that much equipment going on. And
That's how all of our
it sounded like
investigations are.
the spirits were having a party.
We're like so big on like the whole corroborating evidence thing, like CSI, like the old CSI show, like let the evidence, lead you to the answer type of thing.
Yeah.
But the more things you can stack up the DNA on top of the fingerprint, on top of the video CCTV camera, on top of the witnesses, that's the type of thing we want to run, so that there's almost no way for people to debunk everything. Or some of it is natural or whatever, but we figure if we throw that much at it. And now it's just Marissa and I. Sometimes there'll be the person who owns the house there. That guy Brandon used to come with us. He doesn't anymore. Now it's just me and Marissa everywhere. And we manage all that. Plus we have 11 cameras that will set out static wise all over the place. We use a lot of GoPros now because they're so much lighter and easier. I can attach to my chest everywhere. They're the best. I love GoPros now, and we just put it all out there. But now what I honestly try to do now is we'll use the XLS and then we'll shut that off. We'll use the flare and we'll shut that off. Then we'll use the SLS. You know what I'm saying? We don't do all of it at once anymore.
Yeah.
If we go to a different part of the location, we'll bring a few pieces of equipment because it would take us hours to set up. And as we were putting equipment out, it would start going off. And then you have to stop because you never know what you're going to get in an investigation. You can't pass it up. Shit's going on. You're going to stop,
Yeah.
And it would
now
take
one
us 2
question
hours
I
to
have
set
for
up.
you. One question I have for you. Going through that segment with everything going off, how the hell did you work yourself through that while you're doing the editing? Because there is so much going on.
It's not easy.
That must have taken you forever.
It does. And I used to crack those videos out in a couple weeks, for the other show we used to do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
crazy. There's a lot.
I got a feeling the next question is going to be about the portal, so go for it.
What's that? Oh,
I got a feeling the next question is about the portal.
So I never gave any thought to it till the investigation before, which was the Salem, and I started hearing it coming out of the spirit box left and right. And I was like, what are they talking about with the portal? And then this was 6 days later. The Salem was a Saturday. This was the next Friday. And now I'm hearing it again. And then I'm going through the evidence. Now, I know that the 2 pictures, but that weird yellow thing, that was on top of the power plant. And I have similar pictures at 5 other locations, not on the power plant, just in the woods at Anawan Rock, which was an Indian Native American massacre site during King Philip's War. We captured it. I have it at 4 or 5 different locations, Lizzie Borden's basement. And every time that thing appears in a picture, they'll be talking about it.
Yeah, spirits will start talking about portal.
Okay.
Now, I don't think that we're not talking about a portal, a swirling circle where we can walk into, or it has anything to do with us. It has specifically to do with the spirits and something to do with
thinning of the veil, I think.
The veil, if they can come through or not, easier or whatever. The fact is I had 2 or 3 power plants stacked up there, which you're creating a lot of electromagnetic energy and crystals. Listen, crystals are weird, man. Crystals are weird. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but the power plant is based upon paranormal hotspots worldwide, like Mount Shasta, Skinwalker Ranch, Alaska Triangle. They all have high Earth magnetic energy fields and massive quartz and amethyst deposits. I just miniaturized it to see what would happen, and weird stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
What do you think?
You know what? Honestly,
and if not, what are they talking about?
Well, when I first really started getting into investigating, I was not a huge believer in the portal thing.
Because everybody says it everywhere.
Yeah, but it wasn't until I did an investigation at a bridge. And when I go to this bridge, and I've talked about this bridge on many occasions and on many different shows. And this bridge, I don't know what the hell's going on at this bridge, but I've done all the research I can possibly do on this bridge. There's got to be hundreds of spirits underneath this bridge, because as soon as you walk underneath this bridge, you start feeling ill. Now, well, people will say, well, maybe there's like a electrical box around or electrical wires up there that something's going on with that, and there's not. And so I actually had a medium check out the bridge, and she actually said there is a portal there. Now, the reason that there are so many spirits there is because there's a negative entity that's blocking the spirits to go through this portal, and that's why there's so many spirits there. So I couldn't think of any other reason why this place was so haunted, because nothing has happened at this bridge to cause this haunting. I've done all the research in the world, like everything. The only thing that I came up with, and it was a bus that was hit by a train, and it had a bunch of kids on it.
Oh,
and that was like I think it was in the late 50s or 60s or somewhere around there. And unfortunately, all the kids died, but that was 2 kilometers away.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know how far
so I
spirits
don't
can
know if
actually
that would
travel,
have
so.
anything to do with it, but I can't come up with a viable answer on why this place is so haunted. Like, if you guys ever come to Canada, I will bring you to this bridge, and you guys will be blown away on what you can capture at this bridge. Now, the only thing I haven't done at this bridge is a fleur, and I'd love to do a fleur. Now, I took a picture because on one side, and then there's a stream that goes, down the middle, and then the other side. I actually took some pictures, and I actually captured a spirit, what looks like it's laying on a rock.
Wow.
Now, the interesting thing about that is, if I blow up the picture more, there's like about 8 spirits over here, and there's about 4 spirits over here. And you can see all the black shadows. And then at the top of the bridge, there's 2 shadows standing together in this picture. It is so cool. But that's the only thing I can think of. But again, I'm on the fence about portals, but
I think it's an overused term for sure.
Yeah,
As far as natural portals, what I had done on research wise is the theory was that if there was a place where there was a lot of like something horrific happened there, and then you have people coming there all the time with the intention, and that doesn't apply to this place, with the intention of contacting the spirit world, it can further thin the veil in that area. And then when I come and I introduce the power plants into it, it's almost like a tipping point that can cause these things. Now, the only place that I ever walked into, and I would tell you dead on that I think there's a portal there, just without turning on, without doing anything, is when Marissa and I went to the Hinsdale house last summer, and it struck me with what you said. I almost threw up on the second floor. You feel dizzy. It's bizarre. Everything. It's the only place I've ever been to that matched everything said on TV. It was bizarre. It was weird. I'm actually going through the evidence now. It's even weirder than I thought. The place is just bizarre. So to me, there's some sort of vortex or something is going on there that either was created or is a natural effect. But honestly, when you said it made you feel sick, this place is the only place that made me feel sick. And I am not sensitive to EMF. I work with it all the time. It doesn't bother me. That place made Marissa sick. It made me sick. And here's the weirdest part, Brian, is that it's not so much the first floor, it's the second floor. So I don't almost don't even, because usually you would think it would be attached to the ground some way. It's almost like it's 12 feet off the ground, because on the first floor you don't feel. So you go to the second floor, you start feeling like weird, and it's not a fun house effect. The house isn't tipped or anything. It's just it feels wrong up there. The whole house feels wrong. I'll tell you that right now. There's something negative there. It feels wrong when you walk in. It feels heavy. But there's something there is extremely powerful. When we walked in and we didn't even take a tour. We were talking to the guide, and I have a little pouch that I keep my Bose headphones in. I was
Okay.
doing a review in the car, and something unzipped it and yanked the headphones out of my pouch as I was standing there.
Oh wow.
Now I had no camera on or anything. I was just standing there.
Typical,
and right then
right?
and there, I said, "It's on. It's on.
Yeah,
It's
typical.
about to get crazy."
Yeah,
Um,
and
but-
just going back to that bridge thing, the very first time we were at this bridge, my son got touched on the back of
Yeah.
his neck, and he jumped like almost 3 miles in the air and scared the crap out of him. And the second time, I think there's a spirit there that's attracted to my son, because the second time we went back with my son coming with us, he was holding the K2. And he asked the question, "Do you like me?" And the K2 lit up like a Christmas tree. And he kept on asking questions about himself, and it kept on responding. So there's definitely a younger spirit that is there that
Absolutely.
is either attracted to my son. We figured
Yeah.
that's a spirit that probably touched him the first time there. And yeah, it's amazing. That was cool, man. That was a cool segment. That was a cool video.
I think with spirits have not so much even a connection, but if they have I can't think of the word, like with you and Angie, like if they had a similar, if, like same age, like you were saying, same age, a boy, same age, maybe even they have the same age. Sometimes spirits know things that I don't know how they know. Like sometimes they'll answer my question before I ask it. As it pops into my head, I'll get an answer either out of the spirit box, whatever. Take your pick, and it freaks me out. And I'm like, "Are you reading my mind?" Like, there's so much involved with this that we don't know.
Exactly.
None of us get it. It's just so weird. Like I always say, more questions equal more answers almost every time.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys know this, but I'm the type of
Nope.
Don't mess with it because it's not ours. It's not our end.
All right. It looks like
yeah, it's at my end.
All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just play another quick video. What I wanted to do. Let me see. Is yours back on? Or?
I can see myself. So.
Oh yeah, no, you are. There you are. Yeah. Give a shout out to your show. We've been on Brian's show before. Whatever you want to shout out real quick.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot.
You're a busy guy.
Well, let me say the first one. Obviously.
Oh, he froze again.
I'm freezing, aren't I? It's definitely at my end. So the Global Ghost Hunt, obviously Huntaphobia. You can find it on all social media platforms. Parapost Network Central, where we're streaming right now with you guys. And what else? Through the Lens, that's on Sundays. And also, I don't say this enough either, Parapost Network, the app. You can download it through iOS or Android. It's free, it's drama free. And if you're looking, even if you're an enthusiast, go on over and sign up. It's free, and you can see what everybody else is doing.
I've had a good experience on it. Everybody's been real positive on the Parapost, the network, the streaming part of it.
So I'm
hoping,
the price. So I'm hoping by this time next year. Well, I'm hoping next year at some point that I'll be able to shut down the Parapost Network app and have a brand new one that's going to be its own platform, and that you're going to be able to stream live on there on Parapost Network, the app. So that's what I'm working towards. Yeah. So everybody that's on Parapost Network Central are going to be able to stream live on Parapost Network, the app. So, and then you're going to be able to do your live investigations there, your vodcasts, your podcasts, whatever you want to call them. Anything you want to do live, you'll be able to do, obviously with a certain limit. It can't be, adult stuff.
Damn. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So
that was Marissa's idea. I shot her down. I said we can't do that.
Yeah. So hope that next year we'll be able to, and I'm hoping it won't be for the first one in May for the Global Ghost Hunt. I'm hoping by the second Global Ghost Hunt, which is in October, people will be able to go live on Parapost Network, the app. So
that's some cool stuff right there. And the Global Ghost Hunt.
Yeah.
Global Ghost Hunt just tell everybody about that real quick, like what that's going to entail.
Global Ghost Hunt is going to be a 10-day event where it's going to be teams are going to be able to sign up and do a live stream on several different platforms, and it will go globally. And get your team out there, get your name out there, get your location out there, because Global Ghost Hunt is not only about the teams, but we're also about the locations. We're
Absolutely.
interested in preserving these locations because a lot of these locations are getting torn down for various reasons, whether it's vandalism, whether they can't afford to keep it open anymore. People aren't going there. It could be various different reasons. So not only are we about the teams getting out there, but we're also about the locations, their names getting out there too. So they can hopefully, if we have a team that is at a locations that's really not well known, hopefully they will get well known, and hopefully they will be solidly booked throughout the year, so they don't have to worry about where the money's going to be coming from. And that's what we're all about. So it's a 10-day event, May 4th to the 14th, and then October 19th to the 29th. Now, one thing I do say, or I don't say enough, and if you're into this, the thinning of the veil, May 5th is the start of the thinning of the veil for May, and October is the 28th. So,
I know about the October. Yeah, I didn't know that was in May too.
So May 5th. So if you're interested, go over to www.globalghosthunt.com, sign up your team, sign up your location. And even if you have a haunted location but don't have a team yet, you can sign up too. If you want to be a part of it. We'll try to find you a team, or if you can find yourself a team. So that's what the Global Ghost Hunt is about. It's going to be one big party that's going to be streamed globally. So you're going to get your name out there. And that's what it's
and
about.
Before we get to the next video, real quick, as we mentioned before, and as you see up in the top corner of the screen, this show is sponsored by Relatively Paranormal Equipment. Now, I say that in a couple different ways. Marissa and I take on as many cases locally where we live in New Bedford, Massachusetts area that we can to help people when we can actually put the time into actually helping somebody, not just show up, film stuff, and bounce on them. When we can actually put the time into helping them, and we do. And we don't charge people. And, oftentimes we have to pay for babysitters. We have to pay for gas. We have to pay for that. We don't charge for any of that. A lot of the money we make from Relatively Paranormal Equipment goes to actually helping people. Like, there's no BS.
That's cool.
That's real. The other show, we thought we would get sponsors, but a lot of local businesses didn't want to touch it because of the paranormal angle. And we ate a lot of expenses for a long time. That we didn't mind doing it. When Marissa and I went through our first haunting, we didn't know where to go for help at all, even just to validate what was going on, because we did feel like we were going crazy. So we try to do that. But I'm just going to quickly just give a quick breakdown, and then we'll go to another video. Relatively Paranormal Equipment, we have 3 different stores right now. It's on Etsy. The links are in the description of this video. You can see them on screen right now. Also eBay, we have those are both longtime stores. There are tons of reviews. We take care of our customers. We started doing this because we saw all the garage tech kind of junk out there, and we saw all the bad comments about people being ignored and not responded to when they had issues or even questions. We offer video chat tech support for any of our equipment because we know that something like the SLS is kind of technical, and if you're not used to it, it took us time to learn it too. Both our XLS and our SLS come with video tutorials. Our SLS is a complete device. I guarantee you it is the highest quality SLS anywhere, and we sell it for $295. Everyone who sold it for $400 and $500 for years now has come down to this level because they have to, because of what we're selling it for. But we did that to help people because people couldn't afford it because of the high prices, and we wanted people to be able to enjoy what we have been enjoying for years. Our all-new XLS, which you have seen on Ghost Adventures, is incredible. Now you're seeing it in this episode through the night vision screen. We're selling that in our Etsy shop and our eBay shop, and we now have a shop on our website, www.relativelyparanormal.com. In all of our shops, we sell our invention, the Power Plant Spirit Energy Device. It works. Read the reviews. Do not have to take our word for it. Read the reviews. Trust me. We also have a rechargeable night vision light that we sell that's very inexpensive. For years, I saw them for 50, 60 bucks. It's half that price. You can use it while charging. It's amazing. And we are also sponsored by Ghost Scan. We sell 2 of their products. Now, this has become one of our favorite devices. It is an ultrasonic motion detector that casts out about 13 feet, and it will actually pick up spirit energy and tell you when it's on the move up to 13 feet away. And we use this in conjunction with other devices. And there's been a couple places where we have had outstanding success. And we also sell the REM puck, which we just got one in the mail, so we haven't had a chance to use it yet. But from just fooling around with it, it does everything Rob says it does. It is a 2-in-1 proximity detector, motion detector. Now, the proximity end of this is not what you're thinking. It only goes off if it detects EMF and it filters out man-made EMF. So if you want real responses, real activity that you can guarantee is real, this is the device for you. I know he had some people actually complain because it was filtering out the man-made EMF. So they're thinking like, oh, it's not working but you got to realize it's not picking up your phone. It's not picking up the whatever electronics around you, the microwave. And, and people told them that I don't care. I wanted it to do that because they want the like you were talking about, the fake stuff with the flashlight and whatnot. That's what they want. So they were actually mad at him for that. But it does filter out the man-made EMF. So you can guarantee that what you're getting is actually, we want real evidence, man. I don't, like it's time and energy and expenses to go to these places. I want real activity captured on real devices that have real evidence. Okay, I don't go there to get fake responses and fake EMF hits and everything. Like, to me, that's a waste of time. So something like this is a value to me personally. But we sell that. So we're gonna run another quick video here, and this one we actually move upstairs, and things get just as strange up there. The activity is just as powerful. So we'll see you in a minute, Brian.
Yep.
This is what dust looks like on a night vision camera. In this basement, as you can see, it's floating down from the ceiling, and it looks like snow. It's all headed in one direction, just fluttering down at the same speed. What you're about to see is our second floor abandonment camera in this factory. We were all on the first floor, and we left this on the second floor with a power plant, energy pump, and all sorts of different experiments that you can see on the floor. What you're watching is an explosion of spirit energy. They are all headed in different directions at different speeds. They have different shapes. Some are self-lit, some are flashing, and they are amazing. Enjoy the rest of this spirit energy explosion. Investigation moving up to the second floor, I created an experiment on the first floor just as I had on the second floor during the start of the investigation. I moved all the motion detectors, all 3 of them, the 2 audible and the 1 visual that lights up, the REM pod, and a static detector down to the first floor, all sitting around a small table. I told the entities if they wanted to get our attention to have us come back to communicate down there, to make the devices go off and make some noises.
that wants to communicate? Boys? How come you can't use those flashlights? They're dead again. Are they dead again? Look. It's the end of these to turn them off and on. Now we...
This is really bizarre. During the investigation on the first floor, the spirits were telling us that the figure we saw trying to escape the vortex spirit box was named Nate, and that the other spirit we saw in the vortex spirit box through our V2 SLS camera was a demon who was taking Nate somewhere into the box, into some sort of portal where he was killing him. Now, we have no idea how a demon could kill a ghost. I'm not really sure, but I'm trying to develop theories on that. But that's where we're at right now. That's the boy they're talking about, and they want me to help him, but I'm just not sure where he was taken and how it is that I could help him.
Is Madison up here? Madison? Oh, that one went on. Shut that off? Oh yeah, look, they're going off now. Right here, that on camera though.
Shut that. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. That's me.
Can you show yourself right over here, please? Yes, you're over here. Can you show yourself right here?
Is Nick up here? Is there a spirit downstairs that's mad and took away the energy? Who's over here? I'm looking for something.
Move the shopping cart. Move the shopping cart.
Who's over here? The flashlight. Alright, so what are the names of all the spirits? Ghosts, yeah. What are the names of all the spirits in this building? Nick, David, and Madison? Is that correct? Nick, David, and Madison? Do you need help? You don't? The flashlights are going to be. Do you need help? Do you want me to bring the light? Do you want to move on to the next level? Do you feel hopeless and miserable? Is Is death miserable?
Now, I'll tell you something funny about the necrophonic. We don't use it anymore
Yeah, nor
because
do I.
everything turned into that negative aspect where it was all about demon this, devil that. Now, I'm not saying that aspect of it's fake. I'm saying something about that device, something about that app is negative. We use a different software now.
Yeah.
That's
You know why
Windows-based.
I could tell
But
you
the
why I
funny thing
stopped
is I
using it.
started like asking other people that I met through Relatively Paranormal Equipment, just chatting with them, like, hey, do you use this? And like 90% of them had the same experience where it started off as cool, and it turned into something negative and nasty to the point where some of them ended up with
You know what?
attachments.
I stopped using it when I found out Stephen Huff had something to do with it.
Really?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something creepy is that we were at a location and something said something about necrophonic and it was evil, and I never mentioned the app. I don't say the app to the spirits. And I said, did you say such and such is evil? And they said, yes, that is evil. And I think they used the word app. And I said, what? And I said, well, why it was evil? And they said, Keith made it that way. And I said, what? Keith, who's Keith? Like, I didn't even know that was his name, right? So then I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, that's the dude's name. And when I said, well, what's the last name? Hey, they said it. They said it. And then I said, well, how did that happen? They said, well, he made it that way. They basically what the spirit said, and it's weird because it was very clear. It basically said that whoever made this, and I can't prove this, and I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but this is just what I heard come out of the spirit box. It said that basically a conjuring spell was chopped up and put into the software, and that's you may not notice it, but it's in the phonetics of it.
Okay.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know either, but necrophonic to me was more of a get them going rather than finding out stuff through it.
Yeah.
There was a time where I'd ask questions and then it would come back with a response and you're going, okay, well, that's weird. It answered the question. I've always been on the fence about the necrophonic. And one thing I did like about the necrophonic, it's one of the only apps out there that doesn't ask permission for your media or your microphone.
Yeah. That's true.
That's
Also,
another reason too.
Yeah. I think it's legit. I just think it has a negative connotation to it for some reason. We had to stop using it. And you know what? It killed me.
Well, I know that's legit because it came out saying your name. And how in God's name
well,
could
and
I
it used to
possibly
do like,
that?
well, if it had a
I mean,
microphone.
it says my name too. It's like.
But we started
you know.
like going out of our way to never mention our last names. And it would say Todd Sylvia like all the time. And I'd be like, what the hell did you just say? It would say Marissa Weiner. It would say our names. Like it would mention things that it couldn't possibly know that I've never said through a microphone on it or anything.
Well, hey, listen, like we all know that spirits can manipulate electronics.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So
no doubt.
It's possible. It's very likely, and you guys are experiencing it, that it's doing something with your phone. Because we all know that it can drain the battery from your phone. It can drain batteries from your equipment. So we all know that spirits can mess with, like I said, electronic equipment. So there is a possibility that, it is doing a lot to your phone when you have the necrophonic on. And if you're experiencing something negative like that, like it said earlier, I'm going to eat your brain, like that's kind of disturbing.
Disturbing.
And then for it to say your name over and over and over and over again, that speaks volumes there as well.
Well, let me tell you something creepy about that, and I didn't think about it till today when I was reviewing the evidence. Like, I had brain surgery like a year before that investigation. I don't know if you can see the big scar on my head, but I had brain surgery, and what happened is I had a bad tooth, and the infection went into my brain. It was like eating my brain. Basically, it was like messing with my brain. And then this thing says, "I'm going to eat your brain." Like maybe it was just a nasty thing for it to say. But to me, like, and I've watched this evidence a bunch of times, but I just noticed it today. I was like, you know what? What if this thing's talking about that, like trying to just dig at me a little bit because it knows that, or it sees the car on my head or something.
I will say one thing, and watching all your evidence, that place is active.
Yeah, no doubt.
Active. Are you guys going to ever have another chance to go back there?
No, that was Brandon's cousin that worked there, the guy that used to be part of Relatively Paranormal. We don't talk to him anymore, but the workers there were experiencing like those pallets, those plastic crates moving. They were hearing footsteps, but the thing that I found compelling was they had a set of night vision like security cameras, and this thing would set them off in conjunction. Like the first one would go off, then like it was walking by, then the next one, and the owner would run down there like, what the hell? And nobody would be there. Nobody would
And
be
the
there.
only reason, and the only reason why I say that, because now knowing what you know now, you can go back there with different intentions. And
no doubt.
And asking different questions and maybe getting better answers on why they're there, because you know a lot more now than you did on the investigation.
We're completely different investigators than we were 2 years ago. Completely.
Well, it's
different.
not even that. It's just about that place.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
You know
no doubt.
everything. You know a lot more now than you did when you first went there. And it would be really interesting if you could somehow get back there, because now you have different questions that you could ask to see if you're going to get those responses.
Yeah.
And capture better evidence, maybe getting more EVPs through your microphone camera, or if you do a voice recorder, because the questions that you need to ask, and you're probably going to get those responses. And that's what I love going back to a place that I've been, because if I've captured certain names or certain evidence, I can go back to that location and ask those questions, whether it's a name, whether it's why you died there, if they've said something during the investigation that I didn't know until I went through the evidence.
True.
So,
we use Zoom recorders now, and for anybody out there watching either live or on replay, it makes a difference. Like you said, through your headphones, how sensitive they are. The Zoom recorders are so off the charts, and you can get them on eBay dirt cheap in the auctions. There are so many people selling them. I got an H1 and an H2 for a total of $100 on eBay. Wow. Brand new condition. Like, one was in the box, still sealed, the H1, and the H2 wasn't a scratch on it. I won 2 auctions. One, it was less than $100 total, and that's $300 worth of Zoom recorders, and they make all the difference in the world. Like, really, like, upgraded to the point where now I'm so into EVPs because I hear them so much better now. It's so much clearer. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really crazy stuff. So I do have one more video. I don't know if I should play it.
This has been a long podcast. Let's do it.
All right, I'll play it.
You might as well go right to the 2-hour mark.
Listen, I asked a couple of weird things come out of this at this point, like about the afterlife. So it's actually worth playing. So I'll rock it. Sure.
Why is death miserable?
Death is miserable.
Yeah, I asked it though. I said is death miserable.
And it said death is miserable.
Angie said that one. Why is it miserable? Yeah? You always think that you wish things turned out differently? Yes? That's sad. Do you feel hopeless?
Only I do.
Do you wish you had gone to the light? What? to the light. That's sad. Why did you stay here? You hear that? Did you hear that? I said, why did you stay here? I said, because I am I not going to the light?
I'm like you said it again.
Foolish. Wow, they're clear tonight. These voices are clear, huh?
Full set.
Crazy. But why? But I understand you think it was foolish to stay, but why did you stay? Did you stay because you were hoping you weren't dead? Help us. Please. Okay? How can I help you? Is there a negative entity bullying you? Is there a bully here? Turn on the light if there's a spirit or an entity bullying you. Then turn on the light. There's a demon here bullying you? You hear that? Yes. What was that bang? Oh. How does it... Let me ask you a question though. Stop. How does he bully you? What does he do to you? What does the negative entity do to you? Bullies, I know. Well, how does a ghost bully another ghost? Does it threaten to drag you to hell with it? Please make these words. Wait, you want me to bless the building? You want me to sage it? Did you say yes?
I said yes.
It said yes. Wow. It said yes? How do I hit it? Stand yourself in front of me. What you did? If you show yourself in front of me, then I'll leave soon. Manifest right in front of the box. You did? I didn't see you.
Now, I'll tell you what's crazy about that is that the same woman's voice over and over again responded to my questions about why didn't you go to the light? Why are you still here? And she said, because I effed up, like clear as day, and then kept going on about it, saying like, I wish I could just die. I don't want to be stuck here. I didn't make it up into the light, she said, because I didn't go up into the light. I screwed up like over and over again. And it's the same woman's voice repeatedly. And it like in review, it almost like broke my heart to hear it because like she's so sad. So sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like unfortunately with that place, it sounds like there's a lot of spirits that are trapped.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's the tough part about the spirit boxes. They'll talk over each other. Like it's sometimes hard to decipher until after. But the fact that she was answering me word for word. And then when I said, should I bless the place? Should I sage it? And the spirit box says yes. And then the word bank went off and said yes. That's why I was like, that thing said yes. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God.
I actually thought I heard during that point, I actually thought I heard an EVP say yes through my headset.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. When you heard that yes, I heard a yes. It sounded like an EVP.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard spirits talk about negative entities killing them?
No.
We've heard that at many places, and it's puzzling because how could one spirit kill another spirit, or even a demon kill a spirit?
More
they actually killing them?
More specifically, they say that they're eating.
Yeah, this was weird, right? We've heard over and over again about demonic entities eating spirits, but the spirits never seem to go away. But then I was watching a show the other day, and it was Holes in the Files, and Cindy Kaiser said, there's a demon here that's eating spirits, the spirits here for energy, and I almost fell off the couch because it's something we've been talking about for a year and a half because we've heard it and we don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But then I heard that randomly on the show and I almost threw up. I was like, I almost puked in my mouth. I was like,
no, I've never experienced that. I've never ever experienced that. So I don't know. So I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Like that. That's weird, right? It's so much bizarre stuff. But listen, thank you so much for coming on. I know it was a long one.
No, it was great. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was fantastic, man. I'm glad to see you guys back on. I'm glad to see you guys back on Parapost Network Central, and keep doing your show, man. It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
We got so busy during the holidays. And listen, for everybody who bought from Relatively Paranormal Equipment, we just want to thank you. You kept us so busy. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the show, but you made our Christmas. And little Julia here, go ahead, wave to everybody. I know she's up a little bit late. You made her.
Hello. How are you?
Julia probably knows more about the paranormal than most of the posers on TV. She's grown up with it. We don't lie to her. She's lived in 2 haunted homes. This is what we do. She'll tell us, she'll get mad when we don't take her on an investigation because we can't. She'll get mad that she can't comes on the show, but then she'll tell me like, well, I'm going to be a baby doctor. I'm not going to be a paranormal investigator when I grow up. And I'm telling you can do it as a hobby too, honey.
Yeah. How old is she?
She's 9, like 9.5 years old.
So you got a few years before you can go on investigations with them all the time.
How old is your son now?
He's 22.
Oh, so he's older. How old was he when you first brought him along?
He was 20.
So is that long? Okay.
You know what? He was 20. I could have brought him on earlier, but I just didn't think it was necessary. And to be honest, he really didn't want to come. So he likes going with me, but I think he likes going to the places that are a little more popular and well known. To see. Like I go to this church that's absolutely amazing, and he hasn't been to the church. And I think if he would have come to the church with me, he would really, really find it interesting because there's a lot going on in this church too. And it's a church, for God's sakes, and You know,
Is it
you wouldn't think a
abandoned or
lot
is
of
it-
action happens in a church, but this church there's a lot going on. So
Is it an abandoned church
Well,
or
yeah.
is
it
the
is
church
an abandoned church, yes.
I mean, you do have a
Yes.
lot of funerals at churches, and when they become abandoned, sometimes people do go in there and desecrate them and do nasty ceremonies too. That
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Before I let you go, there was one in this particular church, there's like two main rooms. In one room, there's a white chair in the center of the floor, and there's nothing else. So that's creepy itself. And then on the chair it says "Come sit."
I think I've seen that church on TV. Yeah, you know who went there? I'm not even
No,
gonna
this
give them.
church, no, not this church. Nobody's been to this church. Anybody on TV?
I saw a church in Canada. These two dudes are in Canada, and it had that chair that said "Come sit." I saw it on.
It might have been
No,
YouTube then.
I didn't. It was YouTube. I didn't watch it. Their show. I saw it on like Nuke's Top 5 was on in the background, and the two kids do live in Canada.
I
It was
wonder
kind
who
of
it
a
is.
busted up church. It was pretty beat up.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. It might have been another church then. I don't know if you can find out. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. But in the
After the
other
show, I'll tell you
room,
their names. I don't want to give them any sort of
yeah, the other
uh,
room, there's a piano,
yeah, it's
and
the same place. Yeah,
and I wanted to put. Well, I put the camera on there, but there's something I always wanted to catch, and I caught it while I was out of the room because I was in the other room doing an SB7, and on the camera we actually caught one key being played on the piano.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Can I
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
so- Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
like
I'm
this.
interested in who those two people are because I haven't seen anybody go to that church except myself and somebody else,
It couldn't. It couldn't.
and
have
it's a
been
woman.
Did I watch your? Did you put it out there?
Yeah, it's out on YouTube. It might have been mine you saw.
It might have been. I watch so much content in the background while I'm working because
Yeah.
This is not only haunted house. It's also relatively paranormal equipment. So I always
But
have
it was
something
on.
in
It
the
was on
background.
Nukes.
Maybe I was it on Huntaphobia? Is that
Yeah,
what
it
you put
was.
it out on?
Yeah.
I might have been watching your show in the background. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes.
Maybe.
Since
'Cause
the
I
brain
haven't seen
surgery,
anybody
my
go to this
short-term memory's
church.
a little skewed. So
Oh, that's okay. But I haven't
It was-
seen anybody go to this church, so it was
it
most
might have been
likely
you, brother,
mine. Yeah.
because I can picture it and everything. I knew when you said the chair with the thing. If it wasn't
Yeah,
you,
and
then
I actually captured on the SB7. I actually captured it saying "Come sit" on the SB7. I've never sat in that chair, and I won't sit in it.
I must have watched it. I must have been on
I haven't seen
Huntaphobia
it,
that
so
I
I
watched
want
it.
to see it after this.
I must have watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Listen,
been to
hey,
that
listen,
church like 4 times.
thank you so much for coming on. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me.
No, listen, it's a pleasure to have you on it, and we love to have other people's opinions. It's just me and her, and our opinions. Obviously, our experience is the same. Your experience is different,
Yeah.
and we love other people's opinions. We're very open minded about this. Listen,
Yeah, of
you know, if something to me doesn't make sense, and you can say something that makes it make sense to me, I'm grateful because now that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
I'm
this
glad we
is
got
why
to
we're
do it.
here, right? We're all supposed to be working together. We're all after the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all trying to do. If we can get rid of all the drama and the fighting and the
Oh
egos,
God.
you know, and then we can all just work together. We can get this industry being taken seriously.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all after the same thing. We are. And just because you caught some evidence at a location and I went to that same location and didn't catch that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're a better paranormal investigator than me. It's just maybe that night it was slow, you know,
Correct.
and
Correct.
you know, we're all after the same thing. And that's all and that's what it's about.
And listen, hey, and maybe we could get some more answers if we all talked. And it's, you know, I'll post something and get 1,000 positive posts, and then one bucket of haterade will be thrown on me. It'll ruin like half my day. And it's why?
Unfortunately, we're
you
never
know?
going to get rid of the trolls. It's just not going to happen.
You
It's
know?
never going to happen. So
But we love what we do, and
Yeah.
we're grateful for everybody that either watches our content or
I love what
you
you
know,
guys do. I
buys
love what
a-
you guys do.
buys us, you know, so
Thank
you so much, Brian. Hey, listen,
Thank you.
have a wonderful night. Go ahead.
So in one of the videos, Daddy said, "How can a demon
kill a ghost? Well, this is my opinion. I'm guessing that a demon would probably eat the ghost and take its energy and its powers away to become stronger.
Yeah,
And
yes,
that's
it makes
how
sense, Bobby.
then that's how they become like real demons.
I think that
Hey.
maybe when they say eat them to take their, like, I think maybe they're sucking them dry of energy, and that spirit is just completely drained for a while or whatever. They don't seem
I
to
think
go
you're
away,
on the
but
right path, lady.
what Julia said makes sense. Hey, listen.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you for your contribution, young lady.
I like it. I like it. You got a paranormal investigator on your
It
hands.
was
there.
very well worded too. Good job.
All
Hey,
right.
thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
night.
Awesome.
Hey, we'll talk soon. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Seriously. Have a good
Bye.
night. Thank you, everybody,
you.
for watching. You from our family to yours. Have a happy New Year.
Happy
New Year. 2023. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Thanks, Brian. Have a good night, brother.
You too. Bye.